Arr, grog.
Hello and welcome to Sideshow Podcast, a weekly waffle about the Archers. I'm Peter Fickling, and as always, I'm joined by Kerry Warbis and Matthew Weir. But this week, Kerry is laid low. We're lucky to have her. You were at death's door till this morning, Kerry.
I wouldn't say death's door necessarily. That's kind of you to check in. But yeah, I've been boring everyone on social medias about it. Just one of the, I think it's doing the rounds, isn't it? It's like a sort of killer cold. Not killer, really. I'm not dead.
Isn't that called something else?
Is it COVID? I actually haven't got that. I did do a test Sunday night at 3 a.m. and it was an antigen test, you know, those freebies you get, and it was negative, but you can get false negatives on those, can't you? But anyway, I think I'm all right on the COVID front.
I think we would have all heard the scream worldwide of you losing your sense of taste.
I'm on my 18th kebab and
nothing's happened. Yeah, no, I'm all right. I sound worse than I I look, but I don't know about that. I sound worse than I feel.
I mean, you've put the wheels in motion to kind of make yourself feel good this evening, because you messaged us to say that you were putting your thighs in the oven.
I did put thighs in the oven, yeah. It's a well-known Warbis cold curing technique.
Hot water bowl? Nah.
No, you put your thighs in the oven with some herbs and some stock and garlic.
World's slowest and comfiest suicide.
Yeah. So I'm so sorry if I'm wheezing and what have you, but yeah.
I will not be attempting a Kirsty impression this week, that's for sure.
No, you'd be outdone, yeah.
I'm trying to think of something Kirsty would say. Shut it, Emma. No, she's not from Yorkshire, is she?
Well, she's conspicuous by her absence, really, in the whole rehabilitation of Blake, isn't she? It's almost as if she sensed that she was doing more, the same as with Linda and Robert. They were doing more harm than good, so they've slung their hook without being asked to.
That's a very good point, and and actually, it sort of it focuses on one of my complaints about this week's plot with Martin was it was so obvious that Martin was posturing as the good guy before he was going to be revealed as the rat bag that he has been in the past, and it's that kind of the sort of subtlety of hearing Kirsty wrestle with her demons, or some more scenes like the ones we had with help me out, Linda and Robert. Would have been more useful. I mean, Jazza, to be fair, Jazza did do a lot of that, but yeah, a bit of Kirsty action would have helped with that, I think.
What, where she'd realised that she went in too heavy before and took a different tack? Do you mean?
Yeah, or just that she would have been a more useful counterpoint to Jazza's sincere and sterling efforts than Martin, because I mean I was kind of hoping that Martin actually was being a good guy. That would have been actually quite interesting if they, but being the Archers, he had to be a pantomime villain in the end.
I mean, I almost regret my 11th hour decision to edit that comment out about Martin Gibson last week, because he is certainly as bad as I said he was in that comment. And it was, as you said, Peter, it was all about promotion for the farm and trying to, I mean, I like the way that they got the Echo in again, because it was that Echo reporter before that went back to Susan's house and got all the dirt, wasn't it?
Was it?
Yeah.
What was he called? Cole.
She went round the village trying to find things out, and she ended up buying a bottle of wine, depressed, in the shop, and got chatting to Susan, and like basically like Susan's deep throat, isn't she? Just told her everything, took her home. Got Neil in a whole world of pain, didn't it, as well?
Oh yeah, it was Corey, not Cole. Yeah, Corey, but yeah.
Yeah, it was a woman before, wasn't it, from the Echo?
Yeah.
Yeah. You'd think they'd give Ambridge a bit of a wider berth. Every time they go there, they sort of get set up for an absolute shooing by, this time it was Jazza. Who was it before who sent the reporter away with a flea in their ear?
Well, everyone sent her away, didn't they, last time? I can't remember who told her to sling her hook.
Yeah, she wasn't quite as sensitive as this Corey bloke was it? He was actually, I felt a little bit sorry for him. He'd been chucked in without any context, hadn't he, properly, about Blake's mental state.
No, she was much more, my editor's going to kill me if I don't get this story. And then Susan's like, I can help.
Yeah.
Do you want to know everything from 1986 onwards?
And Corey did actually say to Blake as he left, "I wish you all the best," or something, didn't he? Like he felt bad, I think, about what he'd just been doing.
I liked a bit where Jazza burst in and said, "Where are you from?" And he said, "The Echo." And he went, "What?" And he said, "The Echo."
Is there an echo in here? Echo.
Brilliant.
I thought Jazz was going to get fired. I mean, maybe he still
Ah.
will, but I mean, he was magnificently, unrestrained with Martin Gibson, despite the fact that Martin Gibson obviously holds his livelihood in his hand.
Yeah, I thought there might have been a punch thrown, but well done, Jazza, for not doing that. And Martin can't have any gripes with Jazza after that because Jazza knows what Martin was trying to do.
The PR that would spill out of that, man defends slave from
Yeah.
attack from company owner who exploited slaves. It's like,
Yeah.
And get sacked or something. Yeah.
One of the reasons why possibly one of the reasons a punch wasn't thrown. Jazza is probably better than that, but also Blake got very traumatized very quickly at the raised voices, didn't he?
He did. Yeah.
And I think even after that, Jazza was more concerned about going after Blake to see how he was than remonstrating with Gibson.
Yeah, the Stockholm syndrome was very upsetting, wasn't it?
It was, and it was so sad because he literally had to say to Jazza, "I can't trust anyone." And Jazza, "Well, you can trust me. You can trust me." He just won't believe it any longer, will he? Or it'll be so difficult to build it back up again.
And we have to ride that Archer's roller coaster, don't we? Because on Tuesday, Jazz is saying to him, you're safe now. You can trust me.
Yeah.
You can trust these people. And then it's all thrown out of the window in the next episode. And what's it going to take? I mean, do you think we're going to end up with conjugal visits to Gavin? And do you think Gavin's going to have to tell him, "We did exploit you"? Because the only thing that separates Gavin and Philip from the others was that, they didn't try to kill him.
Yeah, and he did say he's going off to find them and to help them, didn't he? So he may well be going to do a visit to them in the nick.
It's possible that Philip has reached a level of contrition because he was starting to. I know that the last time we saw him, he was pretending to be seeking forgiveness, and then he threw it back in everyone's face. But I don't. Do you think he would? Do you think he's so without heart that he wouldn't just give Blake the honest version of events? He's got nothing left to gain from Blake.
I don't think he will. No, I think
No.
only Gavin will.
Fair enough.
Because he was willing to throw his own son under the bus, wasn't he? At the end,
you're right. Maybe he's not the best bloke in the world. I might have got it wrong.
a bit dodgy.
There have been some clues, haven't there?
Philip, nice Welsh chap. Good with the kids.
Like Christmas lights, you know him. Oh dear, yeah, it was dreadfully sad. I think Jazza will make it all better, but it'll take some work, won't it?
Good work by the actor as well, because he suddenly had like a spring in his step, didn't he, in Tuesday's episode, and he sounded different. The actor, he sounded more self-assured.
Yeah.
When he was like, it's a big place here. I don't know if I could do the job and stuff. And then the moment there's that pressure on him again, like the questions are being asked. And the real trigger was Corey mentioning Philip, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. He did have that bit of a meltdown with the strimmer.
Well, haven't we all?
Yeah.
I've seen my dad go absolutely nuts in the 80s.
I've never had a go on one, to be honest, but my parents had them. Yeah. They're quite good, aren't they? I don't actually have any grass.
More specific, Kerry. I mean, I'm thinking that maybe Matthew's hero Jim will actually be able to repay will be able to support Jazza on this. I can imagine Jazza turning to Jim, and Jim will then be able to talk. We might have a scene where Jim brings his experience as a victim, a victim of many years, and is able to then sit with Blake and talk to him in a kind of clear-headed and also as a peer.
Yeah, what you need is Jim is to say like, I actually recorded secretly on a dictaphone when I told Philip to piss off out the house. Play it to him and see. But
I forgot that scene.
Oh, that was so bloody good, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that's what I was a little disappointed that Jazza said that, and I think on the back of the whole Linda Robert thing, that they were keeping the prof away from Blake because it might just freak him out because it's not on his level.
Oh, did
They
they?
said that earlier in the week. He said like he doesn't need the prof around talking to him about like, you know, ancient Romans and stuff like this.
Oh, was he just trying to make light of it, maybe? And also, Blake's staying in the Elms, isn't he, at the moment?
Mm.
And they mentioned, oh, the Elms where Pat volunteers. Somebody said, didn't they, to remind us, because we sure haven't heard her doing that, have we?
It's like the anti-Samaritans.
Yeah, nothing would raise spirits like Pat chatting to you, would it?
Yeah. But it's good that he's got somewhere proper to live. I hope he comes back and it all works out and he does carry on working and what have you. That would be
Mm.
nice.
Yeah, and I hope that he's. I mean, what would be really nice is if they. I mean, I don't want it to drag on and on. I think we've had. I mean, well, not you guys, but I know everyone knows I've had enough of this plot. But it would be nice if his rehabilitation ended up with him just being a character in the village, and
Yeah.
he sort of was able to kind of heal to the point where he was able to sort of just be, you know, a bit like Ed has, but obviously it's a lot more extreme.
Yeah. I think we're all longing for that day, aren't we? Where he just fits in and we almost have to be reminded about how he came to be here and stuff.
Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah. Well, from very nice, we've got our pick of opposites. I'm going to say the absolute effing bollocks. No, bollocks from Lillian, Justin, and Shula this week. My particular sort of annoyance came from just how preposterous yet again Justin was. Justin, the business expert, is now mincing around the stables like Poirot. You know, trying to sort of sift out clues. I mean, it's just the whole thing was just appalling.
I think it's gone far too quickly, this, honestly, from a casual mention over drinks forced upon Shula. Lillian keeps forcing booze on Shula, doesn't she? She was buying her a tonic and said, I took the, I can't remember how she phrased it.
I took the liberty of adding into your tonic. And I think Shula was just like, but I've got Rolly parked up outside.
Yeah, she's a one, isn't she? But it's gone from that casual chat last week to, yeah, like you say, Justin rolling along the floor with a balaclava on, taking photographs.
He's tunneling through.
Yeah, and he wants to make this après cheval. That was my favourite saying this week.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
but the seeds of that were planted weeks ago when they went to the Isle of Wight.
Of course.
When they were talking about the eventing. Do you remember?
So
and it was like Lillian wanted the horse. Justin thought she'd want the yacht. They were already talking about it then.
It makes sense. He's if you can't take the Mount of Mohammed, take them to Mohammed to the mountain. He's trying to sort of bring all the luxury that Lillian wouldn't let him have back to Ambridge.
Yeah, there was a whole list of things he wanted, wasn't there? There was a solarium, floodlights, a huge arena.
He also asked Joanne, she'd apparently been asking Joanne which ponies weren't pulling their weight.
Yeah.
It's like, imagine you're going to have this like private clubhouse at the front and then Ambridge's first glue factory at the back.
Oh, God. Yeah. And also there was a horse walker mentioned that he wanted to install, wasn't there? Which I at first thought might be a person, but I looked it up and it's this huge cage thing that horses walk round and round in circles in.
We did have a chat last time when they went to the Isle of Wight about what eventing involved. And I did do some research and asked horse people that I knew. And they said, I thought at the time it was a mixture of all three: show jumping, dressage, and whatever that other thing that people do with horses is. What did I say? Show jumping, dressage, and cross country. So it's a mix of all three. Right, okay. So that's basically what you do.
Yeah.
And apparently Justin's got the bug. I like the way also that it just seems to have gone incredibly quickly from the fact that Justin was like, it's a really bad pitch, to suddenly he was like, I feel a strategy brewing. I was like, No one says that.
Yeah, and all of Shula's caveats that she said at the beginning was, it's important I keep in control of the business and I want to take a reasonable salary from it. I mean, she would if it was a successful après Cheval huge arena place. But the biggest thing was she wanted the heart of the stables to stay the same.
Dreary, moribund.
Shula recuperating from her fall, lying on a bale of hay, that kind of feel.
But I liked how Justin said, well, it was a shit pitch that she did, wasn't it? I got bored halfway through.
Yeah.
That was outrageous.
And it was.
But I didn't. But then again, I mean, very direct to say you want to appeal to more than the Kira Grundys of this world.
I know. I mean, he's a twat, isn't he? I hate him.
I mean, I'm not defending Justin at all. There is nothing to defend, but there is a kind of, we shouldn't miss an opportunity to give Shula a bit of a hiding as well. And there is a kind of naive hypocrisy to her stance. It's like, I want everything to stay the same, but I also want you to plow your money in and to just help you basically take a salary. It's like, no, if you want the money, you're going to have to accept that there's going to be some substantial changes. Because ice cream van on the corner. So I mean, even if you are keeping the Keira Grundy crowd coming in, you're still going to need to tap them for more than their £40 for 3 hours of trotting around, on a clapped out old nag.
Yeah, I know. She's in a tizzy, as she always is, our Shula. She's caught between a rock and a hard place. How will it all end? Oh, actually, how it's going to possibly end is that Lillian said, "Leave Justin to me, darling," and they're going to cook up a business plan of their very own, which will please everybody. Sorry?
Oh, sorry, I was just agreeing with you. Why do they need Justin? I mean, it's
well, it's his money, isn't it?
Yeah, it's his money.
But doesn't Lillian have? I mean, Lillian has. I know Lillian was fleeced by Tiger, but she was still able to sort of free up some money by selling various properties, and she managed to.
If she stopped drinking, she'd make a fortune, wouldn't she?
Yeah, there was that moment where they said, the bull. Don't worry about the bull. Shula said to Kenton, "Don't worry about they won't give up on the bull because the bull's part of Lillian's DNA." And I was like, "What's that? The gin shelf?"
It literally is. Pumping round her veins.
I mean, I can speak to that because as you well know, I guilt free buy all kinds of ridiculous coffee paraphernalia using the money I used to spend on booze. It's obscene the amount that is it £6 a pint now that people pay?
I've been hearing some horror stories. Yeah, I mean, I naively was back in England and went into a pub owned by a brewery that I used to work for. This was on my way down to Shepton Mallet to view my adopted cat. And I ordered 2 of the beers from the brewery and without any sense of irony asked the guy, what's that, 180 a pint? The guy just looked at me like I'd just landed from another planet.
When did you do that?
I did that probably about 2.5, 3 years ago.
Oh, God. Okay. Yeah, he probably thought you were a time traveller or something.
You stepped out in the block of ice in the corner of the room. You thawed out.
As recently as kind of 2008, 2009, the difference between how cheap a round was in England compared to how much a round was in Dublin was insane. Like if in Dublin, if you ordered you and 3 mates pints and something to go with it, you wouldn't expect to get change back from a 50. You'd have to give extra. Whereas I would come over to England, and I remember being in Bristol in not quite a swanky place, and ordering drinks for £7, and it was still under £20. And I think things must have changed very dramatically in the last 12 years.
It used to be London and a couple of other places with the exception, and the rest of the country kind of held London back from going completely bananas. And at a certain point in time, all of the other cities kind of just adopted London prices. I think that's when it all flipped. Because it used to be, I remember, obviously I'd go and visit family out in the countryside, and you'd go to the local pub and you'd suddenly feel like a millionaire having been in London for, you're down to a couple of quid a pint. But yeah, I can't believe how much it costs now.
That's the thing about coming into London, isn't it? You're like I always felt coming up from Bristol that someone just magically removes £50 from my wallet as I go around Chiswick Roundabout. I don't know where it goes. I just get into London and I'm slightly more broke than I was.
Porto pints were over £5.
Yeah, that's a recent thing though, but that does depend where you go.
Yeah, we were by the river, so maybe.
Yeah, you were living your best life out here, Kerry. You were going to places I would never normally go to. But no, Bar of Soap, where we went on the last night.
We went to a few rough places as well.
Yeah, I guess.
No, it was lovely. Yeah. So is that all the stable shit out of the way?
Well, just very quickly, how much do you think a pint is in the Bull, and how much do you think Justin will want to charge at the?
Pint of Shires, I reckon, is
£4 a bit.
Do you reckon? I was going to say £3.50. Am I naive?
Well, David wouldn't pay over £2.50, would he, for a pint? I don't think. I get the feeling he's very, very cheap.
Yeah, but they've got to make a living, haven't they? Poor old Kenton, who is the Ambridge showman.
Oh God.
Or is it David who's the Ambridge showman? I've got confused now.
It's Kenton.
Okay.
Yeah, that was astonishing. It was quite interesting. I don't think I've ever heard him say it so nakedly, like so sort of come out as, that's how he perceives himself, as Mr. Entertainment. And he was explaining to his mum patiently about how one does comedy. Oh, mum, it's different. Comedy's a serious business. And he wasn't saying it to be funny. I mean, his credentials as a massive bellend were sealed with my eyes.
Yeah, but I mean, everything with Kenton is it's all bad gags, isn't it? I thought when he yelled, "I'm the Ambridge showman," he was trying to do it to the tune of the Urban Spaceman.
Yes. I know that song.
I felt for Jazzer in that first episode of the week, because there's Jazzer and he's caught between the two of them, these two brothers, trying to plan something they're going to do for entertainment. And I could relate to it a bit, because one person's saying they work best off the cuff, and the other one wants to be more prepared. I just thought, I'm getting a massive feeling of deja vu here. This is like a pre-pod meeting between Kerry and Peter.
Very funny.
Whoa. You two are gradually sliding in my direction as the months go past. My complete lack of preparedness is becoming the standard way of doing things, isn't it?
No.
No. I think there is some defense to that. It was just it was a cheap shot.
Very funny, Matthew.
Oh my!
And to be fair, Matthew, I do at least listen to the Archers. That is something I do.
Oh, nice one. That is funny, Peter.
Yeah.
But would David make a spreadsheet or prepare? Because what was it Kenton said to him? Stick to checklists. Yeah.
I mean, God, it was all very dreary, wasn't it? I have laughed along with Kenton in the past when he's like done off the cuff silly stuff. I can't think of any examples.
No, there was. I thought they were even funny this week. Even just their little.
Be funny.
Yeah, their little arguments. I like the way that he just insists on calling David Dave.
Yes.
Until he needs his help.
Yeah. Exactly. That's good. David, I literally can't think of laughing at anything he has said.
I did like the bit where, he said, "You're just going to tell the same old jokes." And Kenton said, "I won't." He just went, "Same old face then."
There were 5, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then in comes Mummy.
Oh, Peggy, she's back. She found her way out of the time capsule.
That wasn't Peggy.
Not Peggy, sorry.
Jill.
Yeah. You're time capsule mad. Actually, firstly, Jill sounded a little bit delicate and fragile, I thought. I worry about her.
What, the actress?
The actress, you mean?
Yeah.
I saw that mentioned on Twitter, and I didn't really, I hadn't picked up on it. But what I'm getting this week, listening to Matthew, keeps on making these points, and I'm like, I just said very, very sort of bravely, I listen, I do listen to the show, and sometimes listen to you two when we do the podcast. I really feel like I don't. Like I learned so much about it. Like so, and Kerry, you were saying that Jill sounded frail. I didn't pick up on that at all. So in what way?
Oh, I just think she's marvellous for still acting and so on. Really fabulous. But she just did sound, the delivery of the lines. I mean, she's, however old she is, of course she's going to sound that way. But I just believe it's becoming a little more noticeable. Not a criticism whatsoever. I just wonder whether she maybe should stand down at some point soonish. I don't know.
Well, she hasn't been in it for a long time.
Yeah,
Has she?
I think it's just so admirable. I mean, God, I can't be asked going to the corner shop. I don't know how she does it.
I'm just trying to imagine a kind of a young, innocent Kerry Warbis with her little reedy voice. Oh, why, Mr. Carruthers, I'd love another pork pie, thank you. Before all the wood mines and whiskey set in, and we got the husky baritone we all know and love.
Even huskier tonight.
Yeah, very husky tonight. Full husk.
Why did you say that when we're talking about Jill?
Well, no, you were talking about her. How her voice is sort of frail these days.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I know what you mean, Kerry. There was a moment where she made a kind of a ooh noise, and it sounded like someone slightly strangling an owl under the table or something. It was very strange.
I didn't know about that.
It was a real impassioned hoot that she made, and I was like, "Oh, what is that noise?"
And this is how the case of the Bristol Owl Strangler was finally resolved.
Yeah,
the Bristol Owl.
Matthew's going to be clapped in irons within the week. Matthew, you've let
It was a very niche crime, and I had a good run. I went all around the globe.
It's probably quite hard with their heads spinning round and round.
It's almost impossible. They just keep rotating.
There's no statute of limitations on owl murder, so
Anyway, I've said too much.
Oh God, you're for it now.
But yeah, I was happy to see her back, though.
Yeah, that sounds like you're happy to see the back of her somehow. In my mind,
No.
I was happy to see her back.
I mean, she's gonna. When they both said I've got someone else, got someone else in mind. I thought they were gonna be like, go real left field and get Jakob in,
or wheel in sort of Roy Chubby Brown or something.
Yeah. Well, I reckon, they should be careful. I reckon Jill might have half a bottle of sherry. She might be capable of doing a blue routine.
Yeah. Did you see my tweet? I said maybe Jill will do a bit of blue for the dads.
Yeah, she might come out and go, "Hey, everyone, you've got enough desserts, you greedy."
Yeah, but go all Bernard Manning with a sort of fag on and stuff.
Well, and I tell you what, she won't tolerate hecklers.
No,
she'd have Kenton and David in the front row. She'd be like,
throw stuff at them.
Take that, Leonard. No, seriously, take him.
Kenton, where's your kids? David pushed anyone off a roof recently?
Yeah. Going really brutal. I think someone said, when are you going to pay me that 10 grand back?
Oh, God. I mean, I tell you what, talking of, we'll get there, won't we? But that got settled, didn't it? Did Kenton finally pay it back? And then the mum paid it.
The mum. Yeah.
The mum.
The mum paid it.
Well, that's her
But
name
it was in
now.
secret, wasn't it?
Name.
It was somehow snaffled away.
Well, I thought that might have been for that debt or that money story was consigned. That was one for the ages until Adam's money issues came up again tonight.
Yeah, he actually sort of casually went, "Oh, I shouldn't have taken that. I feel like I've let you down. I should be a provider. What with all that money I nicked from Home Farm?" I thought, and Ian just went, "Oh well, yeah." I can't remember Adam telling Ian this. Did he? Am I just being thick?
No, he did. He did tell him. Yeah.
All right. Okay. It was Jenny. It was Jenny who didn't know. Yep. It was Jenny who didn't know, and now she knows. Yeah.
That's how we had to hear about it tonight, wasn't it? Because at that point, I was like, you, Carrie. I was like, Jenny doesn't know about this. I thought she knew, but it was shrouded in mystery why he left the farm, wasn't it?
It's a strange loyalty from Brian that he wouldn't tell Jenny about it. I mean,
well, they've had the whole Alice thing going on, haven't they?
True.
It is a strange loyalty, though. Honestly, you would bloody say, wouldn't you? And also, speaking of loyalty, I was really pissed off that Ian took Adam jacking his job in so quickly, so well.
Yeah, compared to how he took it when he thought, when Adam went for an interview, he hadn't told him about burst in the pub, crashed through a bay window of a hotel. Yeah. What's going on here? In a balaclava.
Yeah, I mean, Adam marched in at lunch service, sort of going, "Come on, I need to speak to you somewhere private." And Ian's like, I'm just doing lunch
Yeah,
service.
absolutely. I mean, impossible if it was a busy lunch service, and
Totally, yeah.
unforgivable.
I was going to ask you, Matthew, because I mean, I know how stroppy I get when I'm doing something as, you know, just a lunch, like a meal for 6 or 8 or something. So yeah, I can't even imagine. You can imagine.
Yeah, I mean, it's not unheard of that something will come up right at the beginning of the service. I mean, if the orders haven't started flying in, then maybe he was all right. But I mean, unforgivable that he ignored Tracy on reception. Adam
Yes.
apparently walked in like Terminator, just kept going, ignoring everyone. Oh, I just had my head down. I was just so lost in the moment.
I bet that is how he walks, though. He probably walks and then his head, you know, when they turn a corner and the body goes first and then the head moves to
Was
the
there
side.
Are they starting to write jokes for you now, Carrie? Because I thought there was the bit where he was like, this isn't the staff, this is the staff room. And he's like, I'm not a staff. And he's like, no, I'm a log.
Well, to me, he's either a log, as people will perhaps know from Twitter, the picture I always put up as soon as the first time Adam ever speaks in an episode, I always put the log picture up because of his wooden acting, basically. But Adam, I just feel like he's a mixture of log and droid.
So he is like, he's the loginator.
Yeah, can you have a wooden robot?
Well, I had a wooden car, so you can definitely have a
Okay,
wooden robot.
cool. Yeah, that's fine then.
I have done the walkout of a kitchen in peak service when I've just had enough.
Ooh.
I did
Did you
the
throw
storm out.
down your cloth?
I didn't
that
throw
was on
down
your
the
shoulder?
No, I threw back down on the counter a kind of container that had like kind of herbs and stuff in it, and then I turned on the guy that was about to get it, and then he kind of went from authoritarian to crapping his pants.
Ooh.
And then I turned around and left. It was someone who'd been promoted it was a guy who'd been promoted way beyond his station, and just instead of what normal people would do, which is like, let's share the knowledge and help and make sure everything runs perfectly, he just turned into a little Hitler. And he tried it. I was only in this place because I was younger and hungry at that time. I had like a 3-week window of opportunity before I went back to my old restaurant, and it was a Gary Rhodes restaurant that had opened up in Dublin. So I was basically just helping out. And this guy just, I don't know I don't know what it was. I think he thought he was gonna talk down to me, and it didn't last very long.
Oh, did you go back and work again?
No, I let it was.
That was it.
Funny,
That was
no,
gone.
it was my last day, but I was meant to work till around 2 a.m. and it was lunchtime, getting towards the end of lunchtime shift. And I sent an email to the head chef, who was Gary Rhodes' old sous chef, and just apologized and just said like, that guy's a dick. And he wrote back and he's like, yeah, he is, yeah.
So you're Ian, and Adam marches in going, I need to speak to you. You wouldn't take it kindly, would you, like Ian did, really?
No, I think the very fact that he got as far as the kitchen is a little bit staggering. But I guess it's a hotel, and there's not that many staff. If it was in a restaurant, I think it would be a bit more challenging.
Yeah. I mean, Adam's voice was insanely bad at that point, I thought, when he was expressing his desperacy about what he'd just done. And I do think, like, could this Christian have been that bad? Would you walk out? Would you not? If someone was wanting to sack someone for spurious reasons, would you not go, I'm not doing that, and I'm going to tell someone else that you're doing it?
I walked out because a boss refused to pay an invoice to a friend, and I marched. I basically said, "You got 15 minutes to make your mind up. I'm going to go and pack my desk up." And then I walked out, and I went, and then they were like, "We need to have a word." We had a word, and then I was like, I said, "Okay, you can apologise and pay the invoice." They're like, "No." So I walked out, and I marched down the street, and I felt amazing. And then the adrenaline left me. And suddenly the horror of what I had done and the immaturity of it, and how I should have just, because it wasn't like Matthew's situation where I was rolling the dice on a few weeks. It's like, okay, don't have a pint or two, but I basically threw away everything. And I realized I was going to have to walk back to my long-term girlfriend's. She was going to have to welcome her home from work and explain why we're down to one income.
Were there not
Okay.
any fruit picking jobs going, Peter?
Well, as you know, I am a former fruit picker, so I would quite happily do it, if the opportunity raised itself.
Hey,
And then also,
I've picked fruit.
oh no, but this is the thing, not holiday job fruit picking, but fruit picking. And it was and to be fair, did Adam not show himself in a very good light by being so happy to roll up his sleeves and help out?
Yeah, that's the one good thing that he's done, not unlike Jennifer, who thinks it's beneath him. He at least is going, look, I'll do anything. You need help. I've got no job. I will help you. But going back to the guy who was going to be sacked out of spite, I just worry more about him because Adam's marched off and the awful man is going to sack the guy out of spite.
If he'd stayed, he could have at least sort of made some more efforts to protect him
Yeah,
and could
exactly.
reconcile things.
Exactly. I think I would stay and try to sort that out before marching off.
I thought the same thing about myself after I'd stormed out. I was like, okay, well, what little leverage I used to have is now gone, and my mate's definitely not going to get paid now. So yeah, you're right. As always, Karen.
Yeah, there's that thing. I mean, it's the was it in Seinfeld? The walking in is when you know you're going to quit your job. I'm walking in, I feel great, and I think they ask, "How does the walk out feel?" And they go, "Not so great." That's when you realise all the money you've just.
But the principle of it is right in that you don't wish to be working for someone who's horrendous, and to the relief of putting that behind you, it must be great. But it's a risky business, isn't it, to do that, unless you've got something else to go to.
Who was the lady who did it with a lot more panache and style? Denise at the veterinary surgery. Was it Denise?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, her quitting was, that was a pièce de résistance, where she sort of explained to Jakob in no uncertain terms how he had loaded the gun, pointed it at her, and effectively fired it with his poor behaviour.
Yeah, wasn't she like, A, I won't need my day in lieu? And he was like, but she was, because of B, I quit.
Yeah. I would like to hear what Adam was saying to Christian at that. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't like to hear anything Adam does, but I wonder what actually happened is what I'm trying to say.
You're being jolly nasty, Christian. I mean, I can't imagine him being particularly bullish. I think he's kind of brave after the event, isn't he? He's not sort of, he doesn't seem to have a huge spine.
But what he needs to do, I think Adam needs to open a spite farm.
Okay.
He just needs to find a plot of land or some decent land around the region and set up his own farm just to spite Danforth Barton. And please, God of the Archers, let me say the right farm name here. Home Farm.
Yeah, that's where he nicked the money from.
Yeah, and just spite the two of them, But luckily, he had the loving support of Jenny, who took it so well, didn't she? When she got chatting with Tom, Tom was like, "Oh, we're losing all of these fruit pickers due to Brexit," and they dared to finally mention. And she was like, "Maybe Adam could help you out," and he was like, "Well, he already is." She was like, "Actually, we don't call him Adam anymore. We call him Picker Number 7. That's him that's him carrying a rickshaw up in the top field up there." But she was like, "My Adam."
Yeah, I mean, is he going to be too knackered? If a commute of 20 minutes does him in, one way commute of 20 minutes does him in, how's he going to cope with bloody lifting potatoes and picking apples? He's 50 something, isn't he?
Yeah. There was an article in the Telegraph that got a lot of mileage this week, which was about they were citing an amount you could earn of £30 an hour in the field. And I have worked in the field with women who earn good money picking, and they pick seasonally, and the reason it's a skill, and they work like maniacs. And they used to re-pick my rows because I was young and terrible. So they'd almost they'd finish their row and they'd be coming up behind me, repicking my row, and they'd have more fruit in their basket than I did. And I made, terrible money. But so it's, it basically it's backbreaking work. I know you guys know this, but I was 17, 18, and I was absolutely smashed at the end of every day.
It was one of those staffer goes and does something for like half a day and writes about it as if they can tell you what it's like to do it for years.
It's like Undercover Boss, isn't it?
Yeah, but there was a really good counter tweet thread. I don't know if you saw it, Peter, by a bloke who's a professional fruit picker, describing what it's actually like and what the things you have to go through in order to get anywhere close to getting 30 quid an hour.
I saw that.
Did you? It was really well written, wasn't
multiple
it?
knives. He was saying multiple knives.
Yes, exactly.
You manage your toilet breaks, and that was the thing. Like I remember one shift in particular, it was raining so hard, and I just basically threw in the towel, and I was just like, okay, I can't be bothered, because I was 17 and I didn't have a family to think about. But these women just ploughed on, didn't even think.
Awful.
Yeah.
So will it break, Adam? I wonder. Will he be able to do it? Hack it for? I mean, it's only temporary, isn't it? He said it's to tide him over until he gets what? I wonder.
Well, Jen has said, surely we can find a place back for you at home farm, cleaning the toilets.
The thing that irritates me the most was that, Matthew last week had a bit of a go at the kind of classism in the Archers. I've done it a few times. I know Kerry has in the past. We've all basically had a chip on our shoulder about it. By the way, I don't have a particular dog in the fight. I don't claim to be something I'm not. I'm not pretending to be working class when I'm not. But it does irritate the crap out of me. But Jenny, it really, really wound me up because she's quite happy to make millions of pounds off the labour of these working class folk, and then the sight of her son heading to the field to do an honest day's labour. And Kerry and I were talking beforehand, Matthew, about how just proud, I think you'd agree with this, Kerry, how proud Kerry would be if Max jacked in his job and the next day he was like, he was out in the fields doing something else to keep himself busy. I mean, I
heard that conversation, yeah.
Yeah, of course. And I think, especially Jennifer, good grief, you've just gone through hell with one of the kids to the point where, you only sink to those depths. That's when you should appreciate all the simple things in life, like health and happiness. And then, so Adam's saying that your go-to at that moment should not be, that's beneath you, your management, what are you doing? It should be, are you okay as a mother, shouldn't it?
I think you'd be over the moon that his head hadn't dropped and that he was actually feeling positive and moving forward.
Exactly.
Beyond the snobbery, just like, oh, good, he's keeping himself busy and he's not just at home sort of, doing destructive things.
It's a real shame because I thought Jennifer had she'd handled all the Alice stuff a bit clumsily, but as well as she could. And I thought she might have learnt from that. And this was horrible to hear.
I mean, it doesn't make any sense, does it? Because surely the one thing you would take away from the whole Alice experience is that the golden child can be, suffering in secret and be, living this double and really quite sort of problematic life. So actually, then you would look around at your other children and go, well, maybe the reverse is true. And actually, Adam's messy life, at least he's he's patching things up with Ian. He keeps on trying to move forward. He might be a terrible farmer, but he does his best.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of weird things, Helen and Stella really bonded, didn't they, this week?
Ruth and Stella.
Sorry, yeah. But Ruth and Stella bonding over a pot of tea.
I think the only thing to come out of that was that she's been invited to the harvest lunch, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
The harvest dinner, whatever. Is it a lunch or a dinner? Even I forgot.
The harvest supper.
Harvest supper.
That's what it's called. Yeah. How can you forget? They've been banging on about it all the time. I don't know. I think it wasn't just that. They did seem to... I don't know. I don't trust that Stella, though. They did seem to get along. There seemed to be an element of respect there happening. I might be a fool.
They bonded over what a dick Pip was.
That's right. Yeah, maybe that's why I liked it.
So yeah, interesting to see what goes. So yeah, I think we're going to have some nice, interesting characters showing up for the Harvest Supper. So let's see how we go.
It might be. I mean, despite all of the tedious sort of wind up for it, they have kind of set it up so that it could be any number of things. You've got Ben and Josh needling each other, Pip and Stella getting drunk. You know, Pip could have her Alice at Nick's wake moment. That could be quite special. You know, they have set it up for there to be some kind of something comedic or some high drama.
Yeah, the supper of 1,000 desserts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knew that sort of type 2 diabetes could happen so quickly and so fatally, you know?
But when Kenton and David were practicing and bickering and what have you, one of them mentioned the crowds. How many people are going?
It's the barn, isn't it? I mean, they could fit the Casey wedding in there.
Yeah, but I thought it was a family bash. And you invite a few people, not like hordes, coach loads of folk are going to show up.
I mean, Jazzer's going to be there by the sounds of it. It seems to be half the village. I mean, basically, it's everyone we know from the show is meant to be there, isn't it? Well, I mean, you know, there's a core cast of 70, isn't there? But I think it goes up in peripheral. It goes way over the 100. Yeah,
I think my most worrying moment, though, out of everything we've spoken about, it's another thing, was that the Bridge Fresh shopping platform went down.
Yeah, I mean, would you not have a Facebook page that would then tell everyone that it's gone down and just to message you?
I just loved that, Tom and his app.
And Tony's like, can't you fix it? And I think, you know, Tony would come into the office later and just find, you know, Tom ramming sausages into the hard drive thinking that might work. This usually works, Dad. I don't know, call Natasha. And then she comes in with some lipstick and starts drawing smiley faces on it. If we just make it look happy.
That did make me laugh. I wanted to ask you guys, as you're sort of filmy types, there's
Highlander.
Shut it. Halloween zombie themed film quiz. Okay, that was something that Kenton has lined up for his lucky customers.
Yes.
So zombie films, I have seen very few of these. I wondered what your favourite zombie films were. I'll just tell you.
I don't do horror.
Sorry, you don't do horror. Have you? Well, Shaun of the Dead is a zombie film that everyone's probably seen.
Which is a play on words of Dawn of the Dead.
Yes, yeah. Can you guess the year that Shaun of the Dead was made?
I reckon, you know, I'm normally really good based on where I was at that time. I'm going to say 2006.
Ooh, lower.
3.
Higher.
Are we in the birthday cake game?
No.
Nick Frost used to drink in the same pub as me. And
so, I don't know, 2004?
Yay!
Okay.
Oh, did he? Did you meet him then, Peter?
His wife, I think it's his wife, used to be sort of like, you know, chat in the pub buddies, if not actual buddies, but, you know, like always chatted in the pub buddies with my ex. And he never made an effort to talk to me, even though our partners were chatting. I never made an effort to chat with him because the football was on. And I always thought it would be a complete bullshit move to sort of, you know, lean across and be like, oh, yeah, I can just assume I'll talk to you. And actually looking back, it's more of a bullshit move to actually think about it and not chat to him. Like, as if he hadn't been famous, I 100% would have talked to him.
Yeah. It's a funny one, though. You don't want to bother people, do you? You know, I get that.
So it was kind of like, yeah. But anyway, so I sat next to him on many an occasion without ever, well, you know, 10 occasions probably, without ever actually bothering talking to him, which is weird and not like me at all. So anyway, in the unlikely circumstance Nick ever hears this, you know, the thing is, he would never recognise me now because I'm about double the weight. I weighed myself on some scales at the doctor's today. Absolutely heart-stoppingly scary numbers flashed up.
Oh dear.
Yeah, but never mind.
Condolences. I did see a really good zombie film which was called Dead Snow. I don't know if it's a Norwegian one.
The Nazi one.
Yeah, a Norwegian Nazi snow thing.
It's all about the confiscation of the Nazi gold, and the zombies are coming back for it, isn't it?
Yeah, I quite enjoyed that one.
Yeah, it's very good, that film. I like They Live, the John
Oh
Carpenter
my
one.
God, that's amazing. Me
Isn't
and
that the
Max
guy?
love that.
I came here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
I wouldn't have considered that to be a zombie film, is it?
I feel like it is, don't you?
I thought it was like alien-y type thing. Oh, that's
Mhm.
interesting. Perhaps I'm wrong. But that's an amazing film. Love it. Yeah.
Let us know your favourite zombie films.
Yeah. And I won't know what they are.
How would they let us know on Twitter, Kerry?
Oh, well done. We're at the Cider Shed Pod on Twitter. So give us all your zombie film recommendations there.
Yeah, we'll try and gif it up.
Promises.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, Matthew and I have got the Photoshop skills. We can get it done. Email any zombie stuff or even Archer stuff as well if you want, or even stuff about us to hello@thecidershed.com. All emails answered reasonably promptly.
Yeah, if you want to find us on Facebook, we're at the Cider Shed Pod. No, at the Cider Shed Podcast. No, we're not. Nice edit incoming, Peter. We're the Cider Shed Podcast on Facebook, and on Instagram we are at the Cider Shed Pod. And I do have to eat some humble pie because Kerry told me last week, post that photo of us up in bar of soap in Instagram. I was like, nah, no one cares about that. And I posted it up, and the next time I went in, it had like about 80 likes.
Yep.
So I will admit I was wrong.
It's the
and you were
most
right.
likes I think any of them have got, isn't it? So
Yeah, it was a lot, wasn't it?
Told you.
People don't. Apparently, a lot of people just saying, "I don't think I that's not what we imagine you look like." I was like, well,
Yeah, they thought we were older and it was something like older and more bitter or something.
Yeah, someone said that, didn't they?
It wasn't bitter. It was something similar. But
war torn.
They were surprised.
I saw Chris Evans last week, and I used to hate it when people said I look like Chris Evans. And I saw him in the street last week, and I felt all I wanted to scream was, "I look nothing like you." I was over the moon when I saw him in the flesh. I was like, "No, it look absolutely nothing like that man."
You definitely don't look anything like it.
You do look like somebody, and I haven't figured out who it is yet.
It's a goalkeeper. It's someone. Isn't it a Schmeichel or something?
Before
one of the Schmeichels.
Before the fattening, I used to get Ryan Felipe, but those glorious days are gone now.
Oh blimey, Ryan Felipe! You don't want to look like him.
That's pretty.
Who the hell's that?
Oh, he was in he was micro famous for about 5 minutes about 20 years ago.
I had a female friend, a female flatmate in Dublin, and she said that Ryan Felipe made her want to vomit.
Oh, that's
well,
nice.
That he's not the only one who has that effect on.
I think it's his acting was the problem, not his face.
That wasn't what the people were saying about Peter, was it?
No. Oh God. Oh shit! I've just realised how that sounded.
Jesus, Matthew.
No, that's all right.
No, it's just he's really slimy, isn't he? As an actor, he's really
Peter?
slimy.
No, he isn't.
No.
Although I am, as I've mentioned before, an award-winning actor. So let's not be too quick to,
Peter, you're far more attractive than Ryan Felipe.
No, you are. No,
well done, Matthew.
You are.
Ryan Felipe used to make me want to punch the TV whenever he came on something.
Oh, the word was jaded. You look much younger and less jaded than I imagined.
Oh, that's damned by the very, very faintest of praise there.
That means we sound old and jaded on here.
Well, Kerry,
your
this
voice
week.
Yeah, good luck with the edit this week, Peter.
What were you going to say, Matthew? Your voice is what?
Your voice is cleared up while we've done the show.
Yeah, if I laugh though, it's not pretty. There's a lot of phlegm.
Has anyone have you ever heard the
Sorry.
Oh, blimey. Have you ever heard the opening audio of Black Sabbath's third album, Master of Reality?
Is it an old bird coughing?
It's Ozzy coughing. And it's looped, and then it just goes straight into can't remember what's the Sweet Leaf. Goes straight into it. It's an epic opening of an album.
I'll have to hear that. I could probably replicate it.
I'll share it out this weekend.
Well, if it wasn't such a niche joke, Matthew, although a good one, I would try and edit Kerry's coughs into the beginning of the show. But I think the audience might be the audience for that gag might be very, very, very small. I think we've done good work with what, apart from the Blake plot, was quite a meager week. So well done, you two. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. It's always a pleasure, and we will see you next week.
Yeah, I'm off to buy a scented candle that's like Vicks Vapor Rub. If they don't exist already, I'm going to go on Dragon's Den, by the way.
It's not one of Gwyneth's, is it?
No, it isn't.
Okay.
No, but see you next week.
See you next week. Bye-bye.
Hagar